Well, it tells me I'm now live. I am just going to check because I am using a different streaming software. And I want to check, yes, that we are indeed live. Isn't it exciting when a plan comes together? Good morning. My name is Helen Jennings, and I'm so excited about a plan coming together. I've not put my downward facing camera up, so we will chat about that a moment. Yeah, so welcome. It is lovely to be here with you. My name, as I say, is Helen Jennings. I'm here from the UK, and I was so excited about getting this to go live on Facebook. I forgot to add my camera, so we will do that right now. So bear with me while I'm just playing around over here. Paste in there, do that. Oh, it's all such a faff doing these things. So I hope you are, as I'm doing this, hoping you are having a fabulous stamp camp so far and that you have been enjoying all of the projects. Indeed, I hope you've been enjoying the products, but I hope you've also been enjoying the projects that we have, that you've been seeing so far. Let us turn that down, that off. And then hopefully we shall lose our echo. Why have we still got an echo? In my downward facing camera, and let's have a play. Now this is just a quick flash at the project you had in your tutorial and the version that I did in Melon Mambo, just because I love the green, but why not go wild? And I'd love to see if you create that project in any other colours. I think you could have Christmas colours, every colour of the rainbow. But the card that we are going to create today is this one. So it is a double diamond fun fold card, and when it stands you don't get a very good look at it as you're looking at a downward camera, but it will stand on your mantelpiece like this, in a zigzaggy base with double diamonds on the front, a diamond on that back panel and a diamond on the front. So I'm going to show you how to create that card. I've done quite a bit of cutting and scoring and those sorts of things, so that you're not having to watch me for hours. I will go in after I finish this. I tried great efforts to get those measurements all looking fabulous for you, and as I pasted them into the instructions on the video, they've all sort of bunched up. So I will go back in and edit that. You have all the measurements there, but I will go back in and edit it to make sure that they are easily readable for you. So I'm going to obviously do the metric measurements, because A4 card and metric measurements is what we tend to use here in the UK. So we're going to start with a piece of black card that, if you are using Imperial measurements, is just half a sheet of your cardstock, your letter size cardstock, 4¼ by 11. For us here in the UK, I've trimmed it very slightly to 29 centimetres. So rather than the usual 29.7, it is 29 centimetres, and then it is scored at 6 centimetres, 12 centimetres and 20.5. So that's 6, 12, 20.5. In Imperial land, that's 2¼ 4½ and 7¾ And then when you burnish those fold score lines and fold it up, you are going to get your zigzaggy card. So 6 centimetres, 6 centimetres, and then that is going to be 8½ 8½ if my quick maths serve me right. So that is your card base. Onto that base, you are eventually going to want 2 diamonds, which are obviously squares turned around, and these are 7.5 centimetre squares, or 3 inches if you are using inches. Now, looking at that is a little bit fuzzy. I'm just going to take a little bit of sandpaper, or quite often I will use my sand eraser. I tend to find that the black cardstock is the one that goes fluffy first. And I cut those last night and the light wasn't brilliant, so I didn't pick that up. So let's just sand off some of those fluffy edges. So 2 pieces of squares that we're going to make into diamonds that are 7.5 or 3 inches. We're going to need a little bit to stamp our sentiment onto. That can just be an oddment, whatever you've got lying around. We're going to want 2 black circles, and these circles are punched out with the 2 3/8 circle punch. Or I'm sure you've got dies that are similar sizes if you don't happen to have that circle punch. And then we're going to want a bit of white, basic white. We're going to need a piece of basic white that is going to sit inside as our sentiment mat, and that is going to measure 9½ points by 7½ or 4 inches by 3 inches. So that's going to sit on the inside there for our sentiment panel. And then we're going to need another piece of white that we're going to die cut with a stitched, the stylish shape stitch circle, and it's the 3rd largest one, and we've got another circle to die cut out of that as well. And then we have our paper. So I've tried to put the pattern pieces on for you. Let me bring those up so I can see them again. So this is pattern piece number 6, and you're going to want a piece that is 10 centimetres by 8, and a piece that is 10 centimetres by 5½, or the Imperial equivalent, that are going to sit on those 2 panels there. Then we've got pattern number 7. This is a 7 centimetre by 7 centimetre that's going to sit on there. And a pattern number 12, Again, 7 by 7. That's going to sit on there. We've got a couple of strips of fa la 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 las because, well, why wouldn't you? So this is your pattern number 3 with the fa la 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 la. Now I've measured these at approximately, and I'm going to say approximately 2.5 centimeters by 10. You definitely want them 10 wide, but what you do want to try and make sure is that you've got sort of a fairly central fa la 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 la. Have I got another little oddment of fa la 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 paper, or a big piece of fa la 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 paper? Here we are. So what you're going to want to do is sort of cut a strip that is going to put that fa la 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 in the centre, and that is around and about 2.5 centimetres, around about an inch. Might be slightly under. Don't worry about it being slightly under. You just want that to be central, really, and you need two bits of that are 10 centimetres wide that way. And then this, you want a piece of this DSP, which is the number 11 DSP, and you want to be able to die cut again with that third largest stitch circle a trio of trees. Now this is going to be a different trio of trees than the one I used on here, because I've used that one on there. There wasn't a repeat of it, so I've picked a different trio of trees. I may well fussy cut that little star out, because this one's got a little star on it, and I felt sad that this one hadn't got a little star on it as well, so I might cut that star out and add that in. We'll see how we get on. And then last but not least, you want some of this paper, which is pattern number 4, because we're going to fussy cut some of those elements. So that is everything we need. Let's have a slurp of tea and then let's put this together. Really quite simple. Once you cut all of those elements, we're just going to add, we're just going to get our glue running. Why is it when you're on a live video, your glues don't want to go? Let's try this. There we go. Now we're literally up and running. So we're going to put that, let's make sure we've got my card the right way around. Don't want to be doing it inside out, upside down. So we're going to put that stripy panel piece on the back there. And this stripy panel piece on the front there. Line those up. Automatically, straight away, we're starting to look a fancy card, because we've got all that beautiful gold foiling on there. Now we're going to take our fa la 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 strips and we'll fa la 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 on the front. And for good measure, we will fa la 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 on the back. Now this will be a little bit hidden apart from when it's open, so I'll aim to make it about the same, but I'm eyeballing that. I've not measured it particularly. That looks about right. So we fa la 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 front and back. Now let's add our pattern paper. Now obviously you can change out the papers you do with this, whether it's papers from this suite or as was suggested earlier, whether you're using this these tutorials at a later date to create out of different suites. The only thing you need to bear in mind is that you need to choose papers for this. So this is it, you know, as it is. It's got to be happy to be turned on the diagonal. Obviously, if that had been a row of, I don't know, birthday cakes, and then we'd have turned them that way, the birthday cakes would suddenly be sloping uphill and all the icing would fall off. So you need just to be aware of the direction of your paper, because you are going to be putting it in a diagonal formation. Both of these papers worked quite nicely that way. They they were quite happy to play that way. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to the bottom half of this diamond, and I'm going to line it up along that top score line, like that. And then the same with this one, adhesive on the bottom, line it up with the score line. Ooh, popped off. Now, I should have apologised in advance. My husband is currently out, but will be due in possibly while we're recording this. I have told him to be shush, but I'm also expecting 2 more parcels. What's the betting? But that I can't control. So if the doorbell does go, I apologise. So there we have our double diamonds on our background. So now we have our 2 punched circles, and we need something to go in our punched circles. So I am going to die cut a piece of basic white card. One. Just got my stamping cut and emboss off to one side. And then we're going to take this and let's find a little bit of low tack tape, I think, because we want to ensure that once we've lined this up, it's going to stay where we put it. And let's bring that over. The bottom of the tree is in, the top of the tree is in. That gold tree is fairly central. That looks good. Bit on my cutting mats. Wind the handle. There we go. Gently ease that off. So that is just going to sit in there. Let's just around this star. It is itsy bitsy, and if you love fussy cutting, then you haven't got a star, then go for it. If fussy cutting is not your thing, then absolutely feel free to say no thank you, that's not for me. Oh, dog's barking. The mic's just come in. I can hear him going shh, shh. I'm just going to put a little spot of glue on there. Add in a little gold star. There we are. That makes me happy now. It's got a gold star on it. So let us add some some glue, some multi-purpose glue to the back of that. And we'll centre that up. So that's one of our circles. And then the other circle, I'm going to take the stamp set and I'm going to take this sort of swirly decoration piece just here that fits nicely across the baubles. But we're going to use it on our circle just here. So let me get some Versamark. ink this up. Ooh. I'm going to take my little embossing buddy and wipe over there. Ink this up with some Versamark. And stamp that across the centre there. And then I'm going to take some gold embossing powder. And let's, got my finger in the way there. Give that a little bit of a put my lid back on so we don't lose our gold embossing powder. Find my heat gun. Come back. I've just wafted that. Now it's wafted underneath that other mat and just scattered some of that embossing powder. Let's scatter a bit more on the top. I'll just watch the magic as it turns from a dull powder to shiny gold. Heat embossing was the thing that got me hooked on card making right back at the very beginning. That watching that go from a dull colour to a beautiful shiny gold. Right, we're now going to fussy cut some of these pieces out of here. So again, you can choose which pieces you use. One or two pieces up, cut pieces up, whatever works for you. You can trim them off. I'm going to take this double leaf just here. I'm going to take this bit of a leaf just here. I'm not going to need all of that stalk by any means. And I'm doing this much quicker than you're likely to. Apologies if you can hear the printer going in the background. You keep trying to train these husbands, but it doesn't always work, does it? So working around here. There we go. There's those two pieces that I'm going to layer up on this front piece just here. Have a play with that in a minute. And this other little white piece I'm actually going to use on my insert inside. So let's just cut that round. And that one, as I say, we will use on our insert. So let us stick this circle here, our die cut circle with our gold embossing on. We'll add that to here. And then we will come in with these pieces. I'm going to snip that off a little bit. And I'll have that coming down there. Like that. Excuse me. So this back one, I'm actually going to put on the back there with some dimensionals. And let's put a few dimensionals on the back here. We'll have that coming up this way like that, and we'll pop that going in the background there. Now this one, before we stick this one in place, I'm going to take some of our gorgeous black and gold thread. I'm not getting any notifications for any comments, so if you are commenting, I do apologise. I will go back and catch up with all of those when I finish. So I'm now going to do a nice big bow out of this. About like that, I think. One of my other scissors. We'll snip that off. Then let's come in with some glue dots initially. And pop glue dots on the back of that bow. It's that way, so let's have it coming that way out of the back of there. And we'll snip that off. That went a bit mad, didn't it, on that tail on that side? So then let's come in and we'll put some more dimensionals on the back of here. And we will add that to this front circle, just here. Coming on nicely. Let's take a piece of black card. Let's definitely come in with our embossing buddy on this one, because black card is notorious for getting little bits everywhere. And I'm going to use the sentiment, "Up we come, wishing you peace and joy." Obviously, I do wish you all peace and joy. That's be good if the world over we could see peace and joy. That block needs a little bit of a clean, but that's okay. It is perfectly functional. Let us ink this up with Versamark. We will stamp that on there. Bring our gold embossing powder back in. Good tap on the back there. Tiny bit I want to get rid of. Ooh, that's a bit of a big brush. Let's not go for a tinier brush. Just brush off that excess. And again, let's heat that up. Just following along the line as we watch it turn shiny gold, and we don't want it to heat it too much, otherwise it will go a little bit matte. I'm just going to bring in my bigger scissors because I'm going to cut along the bottom of there, and I'm going to cut along the top of there, and then I come in and I'm going to cut in the wishing, the U and the peace. So I get wishing you and I get peace and joy. I'm going to take a little bit of a from the edge, I think, of this sheet of dimensionals, and I want a little bit. I'm actually going to put it where I want it on here. I'm going to want it so it's sort of sticking about there. Let's take that back piece off there, and a little tiny bit of glue on the end, and then we'll have that so it's sticking there and sticking there and hanging over the edge there for the wishing you. And then peace and joy, let's have another little bit just from the edge. Where's that gone? And we'll have it coming in down here. Let's take that back off. Off you come back in. Thank you. And we want a little bit of glue on the piece end. And again, we want that sticking over there. Wishing you peace and joy. Now, to finish this card off, I didn't use the foiled gems for this one. I actually used some of the loose gold sequins. Obviously, you can use some of those foiled gems if you would like to. Let me just put a sprinkle of these in here so I can see what I want to pick. Going to have a little gold sequin just there. Actually, I'm going to big. Let's go sort of slightly medium size there. And then Open this up. We'll put a couple of sequins up on the top here. Let's have a big one and another little medium one. Like that. Let's just scatter those back into the pot and put the lid on that. And then the only other thing we've got to do is our piece. And I know what I've done. Do you know, I thought that piece of white looked a bit big, but I cut that piece out of. I used my wrong piece. So let's cut ourselves a piece that is 9.5 by 7.5. A nice oddment just here. I don't like to call them scraps. Makes them sound as if they no longer have any use if we call them scraps. Let's take this little piece just here. We'll add that onto there. And then add some adhesive to the back of that. Pop that in here. So we shut that up. It's going to mat like that. Now I think for this card, you just I was thinking, is it a square envelope? But no, I think we do fit into a standard envelope. Will fit that beautifully, and obviously you can add some decoration to your envelope as well. So there we have a double diamond fancy fold card using those gorgeous metallic-y papers from the Modern Christmas Suite. So I do hope that you enjoyed that project and that you're going to have a go at making one with this paper, and that you'll carry on using it as inspiration going forward for making cards with lots of other different projects. So thank you for joining me. Do hang around. I think it is Sarah up next. I may be wrong. Apologies if I am. And I look forward to being back with you at 3 o'clock for afternoon tea. And we're going to be sharing some of those challenge cards that we've made. So I'll see you then. In the meantime, and continue to enjoy your day.